Hi, my name is Crystal, and I'm so excited to talk to you today about our country's government. It was so interesting last night to see in the State of the Union address the three branches of government represented there as the president laid out his plans for the future of our country. I took it to the streets to find out what average Americans know about how our government works and who has the power to do what in our country, and how a bill becomes a law, especially after the president talked about his immigration reform plan and his tax reform plan that has already been voted on. Let's see what these average Americans know about how our government works. My first question is, what are the three branches of government?
Executive, legislative, and judicial.
What are the three branches of government?
Executive, legislative, and judicial.
All right, great. So, what are the three branches of government? Basic American History 101, but maybe not so simple. The three branches of government includes the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. The legislative branch is made up of the House of Representatives and the Senate, also known as Congress, and they are elected by the people in which the state they represent. The executive branch includes the president and the president's cabinet, which is the vice president, secretary of state, and even first lady. The president is elected, of course, by the people of this country through an electoral process, and the people of the president's cabinet are nominated by the president themselves. The judicial branch is the branch that includes the federal judges, and the federal judges are nominated by the president. And what does each branch do?
Uh, Executive is he makes the law. Uh, he man, I forgot. Yeah, Crystal.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Job. And do you know what each branch does?
Let's see here. The judiciary enforces the laws, legislative interprets the laws, and the executive is signs off on them, as far as I know.
Okay, okay. All right. Now that we got the three branches of government figured out, what is the job function of each branch and how are they all connected? The legislative branch is responsible for being the voice of the people of this country. They serve as a symbol of the people's political power because they're elected by the individuals of the state that they represent. The legislative branch has the power to create and make any laws. It is the legislative branch to set forth bills that are constitutional and fair. The legislative branch has the power to declare war, coin money, establish federal courts and jurisdiction, and set rules regarding immigration and naturalization, which we heard in our president's State of the Union speech last night. Immigration reform is one of his administration's big agenda items, and he petitioned Congress or the legislative branch last night to set forth a bill that supports his plan regarding immigration reform. However, the president or the executive branch does not have the power to create or make any laws. The executive branch can only set forth agenda and make recommendations. It is the president's responsibility to coordinate and carry out any decisions that are made by the legislative branch. It is the president's responsibility to plan for the future of our country regarding taxes, education, and social programs. The judicial branch serves as a system to resolve any legal disputes. It is the judicial branch's responsibility to interpret and apply the law where it is constitutional, equal, fair, and just. The judicial branch does not have the power to create or make any laws, and they do not have the power to enforce the law. It is only the judicial branch responsibility to establish equal and fair law under the Constitution in this country. So the next question is, Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. Can you name a third party?
Independent.
Okay. So the next question is, Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. Can you name a third?
Um, excuse me, huh? Uh, well, I guess independents, Tea Partiers,
Okay.
Freedom Caucuses.
In 1854, the Republican Party was created when members of the Democratic Republican Party decided to split in the northern states because they were anti-slavery. The Republican Party today is not known to be so liberal and way more conservative. The Republican Party dominated our country's politics from 1860 to 1932, and this is because slavery had become a hot topic of debate in our country. Deciding whether if slavery was constitutional or unconstitutional began some divisiveness in our country. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln, the Republican Party's first major victory, was elected as President of the United States, and Abraham Lincoln went on to abolish slavery in our country. We talked about the two major political parties that dominate our political system in our country, the Democratic and the Republican Party. However, there are third parties out there, including the Independent Party. And as we've seen in our last election, Bernie Sanders, who was an independent, ran as a Democratic nominee. Third parties have major impact on our elections, and this is because members of third parties usually have ideological and extremist views, and if they rally voters around one single issue, which they normally do, they can take away key votes away from the Democratic nominee or the Republican nominee. But because their ideas are so extremist and unpopular, independent nominees are usually not listed on the presidential ballot. Maybe that's why Bernie Sanders decided to run as a Democrat instead of an independent. Okay, and do you know what the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
Yeah, it got to be presented to the Congress, and they vote on it, and it go to the Senate, and come back to the Congress, and the president signed it into law.
Alrighty, good job, thank you. What is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
Let's see here. It goes to the House first. It goes through the Senate, and then it goes to the president to be signed.
Now that we understand the functions of government and how our government works, how does a bill become a law? It seems so simple. A bill is created in the legislative branch, sent to the president can like it, sign it into law, or not like it, and veto it. And the judicial branch only steps in when there's been a dispute. The legislative branch includes the House of Representatives and the Senate. So a member of Congress must write or introduce a bill. It goes to a committee for committee action, where the committee then reviews, debates, and examines the bill carefully to ensure that the bill adheres to our Constitution and is beneficial for the American people. The committee can decide not to pass a bill, and if so, the bill dies and goes no further. However, if the committee decides to pass the bill, it goes to the Congress floor for a vote, where the House of Representatives and the Senate votes on the bill that is introduced. The majority rules. So if the majority states that the bill is not able to be passed, the bill dies, or it can go back to committee for further markup and debate and review. However, if the majority rules to pass it, it goes to the president, where the president has the power to sign the bill into law or veto the bill. If the president decides to veto the bill can die, or it can go back to Congress for further debate, review, and voting. The president has a number of reasons of why he may veto a bill, including one where the bill does not support his agenda or his constituents. So he vetoes the bill, and more than likely the bill dies, or it goes back to Congress for further review. But if the president likes the bill, he can sign it into law, and it becomes a law of the land. The only time the judicial branch becomes involved is when individuals would like to dispute the constitutional rights of the bill that has been introduced. It is up to the judicial branch to interpret and apply the law. They cannot enforce the law. So the judicial branch makes decisions about whether if laws can be constitutional or unconstitutional in our country. It's very exciting to see how the different parts of government play out in our current events today. With the current and new administration Things are changing rapidly, especially with tax reform, immigration reform, healthcare reform. It's hard to keep up. But I'm so glad that we were able to discuss how our government works. It helps me stay informed about decisions I want to make regarding myself and my family when it comes to healthcare reform and saving money. All right, today is January 18th, 2018. And my name is Crystal White, and I'm a student in the Bachelor of Arts program with College for America at Southern New Hampshire University. And I'm conducting this interview as part of my academic work. And with your consent, I will record this interview and use the information in the Government and You project I'm working on. The interview will be used to create a video and submit it to College for America so that my project can be evaluated. This recording will be used solely for that purpose. The interview information will be temporarily stored in the College for America online evaluation system, to which only the evaluator and the College for America staff will have access. Do you have any questions?
No.
Do you give your consent to be interviewed and recorded?
Yes.
Okay, can you repeat this statement for me?
Okay.
I,
I,
Matthew White,
Matthew White,
give my informed consent
give my informed consent
to participate in this interview,
to participate in this interview,
to be recorded
to be recorded,
and used as part of the student's academic work.
to be used as a student academic work.
Alrighty, so let's get this interview. Alright, so I'm here today to do a little street interview and possibly ask you some questions about the government.
Okay.
Alright, so I need to get this consent off. So today is January 25th, 2018, and my name is Crystal. I'm a student in the Bachelor of Arts program with College for America at Southern New Hampshire University, and I am conducting this interview as part of my academic work. And with your consent, I will record this interview and use this information in the Government and You project I'm working on. The interview will be used to create a video and submit it to College for America so that my project can be evaluated. And this recording will be used solely for that purpose. The interview information will be temporarily stored in the College for America online evaluation system, to which only the evaluator and College for America staff will have access. Do you have any questions?
No.
Do you give your consent to be interviewed and recorded?
Yes.
Okay, please repeat this statement. I, Dennis Nichols, give my informed consent
give my informed consent
to participate in this interview,
to participate in this interview,
to be recorded and used
to be recorded and used
as part of the student's academic work.
as part of the student's academic work.
Okay, great. So on to the questions.
All rights reserved.
Yes.